What's up, guys? This is Steven again, back at it again with another video for y'all. This one I'm gonna talk about my Coast Guard days. Oh man, I did 5 years in the Coast Guard. 2 years was in St. Mary's, Georgia. I escorted nuclear submarines in and out of a naval base, helped them out. There's some definitely crazy stories there. And my other 2 years, 2 to 3 years, I was in California, Alameda. It's actually a Coast Guard island there. And I was on a big boat. Yeah, it was a big boat. It was about like a 400-foot boat, about a 100-person crew. And yeah, that one really challenged me. That one challenged me a lot. But anyways, let's get back into St. Mary's, Georgia. I'm from Georgia, so it wasn't too far away from home. It was a 5-hour drive, basically. And yeah, like one interesting story. Ooh, I don't know if I can say this. I think I can. I'm gonna say it anyways, just for y'all. Y'all are getting insider information right now. I doubt I'll get in trouble for this. But we actually had the Russians out there waiting for us in international water, because they like to record the sounds of the nuclear submarines. Their props are very high secret, and if they can know how they sound, then they can identify what sub and stuff like that. So that's why they're out there for that. Yeah, that was a weird day. But that was kind of exciting. That was kind of the most, like, one of the most exciting days in the Coast Guard for me. Some other cool, notable things. So I was on an 87-foot boat. We call them cutters in there in the Coast Guard. But yeah, we went into some pretty bad waves. It's like a 10 to 12 foot waves, and 10 to 12 feet on a 87-foot boat it can be pretty bad. And there's always, like, sometimes there can be like a rogue wave and a set of wave, you know, there can be one giant wave. So I don't know how big it was, maybe 12, 13, 14 feet, I don't know. But yeah, it hit the boat so hard. We leaned so far over, the engine actually sucked up air. That's how far we leaned over. And I was on the chart table, and I had my feet on the railing, like hooked on the railing, and I went all the way back, then all the way forward. Yeah, that was interesting. And so yeah, I did get a little bit seasick there, and that was tough. That was tough going through that. But you know, that actually kind of turned into something good. You know, well, it's all the anticipation of getting sick. That's the worst part. Once I finally got sick, then I wasn't scared of it any longer. I'd take Dramamine. I actually started to enjoy it, to be honest. Like, if it was rough out there, I'd be like, hell yeah, you know, we're getting after it. You know, it's actually fun. You know, as long as I had my Dramamine, I was fine. And I also would eat apples, and that would help my stomach too. So I don't know, a little tidbit, maybe try to eat some apples if you know, if you're in some rough waters. That's what I would suggest, y'all. But let's move on to the to the big boat. And yeah, to the big boat. Damn. Let's talk about my first patrol. My first one, we went out west. Probably one of my favorite ones. We visited Fiji, Hawaii for a month. Oh, dude, it was so good. It was so cool visiting around. Oh man, 16-hour in a day time difference. And I would say the only disappointing thing was I thought it'd be a little bit more epic. It wasn't as epic as I thought, but it's actually like a psychology thing to that. But anyways, let's move on a little bit. So like the second patrol that we had, that's when we were stopping drug runners. And yeah, we had this one semi-submersible submarine. It's just skims the water, and they're very hard to find. And we found one that had $250 million in cocaine. It took us 2-3 days to load it all to burn it down. We always burn the boats because you can't just let them drift around. Yeah, dude, moving all the cocaine sucked so much. I think we had like 52. I don't know. We had so much cocaine, dude. It was so much. It was probably like all this you can see. It's probably like could stack it up to here in cocaine. Out of that, it was It was a $500 million altogether in cocaine. Kind of crazy. But yeah, that boat really tested me. You know, I was all the way in California, and you know, I mainly just hung out with the boat crew. And you know, looking back out of that, I really regret that. I wish I had more of a social life. But it was tough. You know, all I did was work. That's all I did. Get there early, leave late, and you know, and my superiors didn't even recommend me for advancement. And I'm not blaming them. You know, they got their own way of looking through things, you know. But you know, that was never really my job. You know, guys, that never really excited me. It was just a job, and that job was sucking the life out of me. You know, it was just sucking the fucking life out of me. And I fucking hated it, to be honest. I fucking hated it. And, you know, I got out and I filed for some insurance claims with the VA, and now I'm getting some money from the VA, which is nice. So it's kind of paying off. The Coast Guard thing is kind of paying off. Yeah, but this is why I'm doing the YouTube. I've always wanted to do YouTube. And I incredibly regret not starting sooner, but, you know, like I said in that first video, I was a very shy kid, and kind of grew up in a rough, you know, household. Like, it was never really happy, and, you know, I never really felt very safe as a kid, and it's kind of really hard to start something like this when you're not feeling happy or safe, you know. And that's kind of want to get back to y'all. I've been really almost touching on this subject for almost all the videos. It's just like, you know, if you're working a job and you're just feeling drained after, you know, I feel really sorry for you. You know, I've gone through that, and you know, I would say life doesn't have to be like that. And you know, I really do feel like if you're willing to sacrifice and make some changes, you really can. Now, I don't know what you in particularly could do, because I don't know your situation, but I'm sure if you really just threw out all the bullshit, like you get all the bullshit, you pack it in a bag, pack in a little fucking backpack, and you threw it off, then you're just left with what you can do. And you've got to like look at that. And you know, sometimes what you can do is not necessarily so much better, but might be even tougher for a little bit. But if you look and, you know, look forward a little bit, I'm not saying always live in the future, but you know, I'm saying like sometimes there's some initial growing pains, you know, and I would say those pains are worth it. It's worth it to go through that to reach somewhere better. And yeah, you definitely can do it. I'd say it's hard. I mean, you could hire someone like me to coach you through. I'll get into that more later, much later in the videos. But yeah, but I did it by myself, so I'm sure you could. The information is out there on you know, YouTube, Google. I use ChatGPT a lot, so but all right, let me think. Maybe I'll just go back to just saying like, yeah, it can be done. It definitely can be done by yourself. You know, look at a guy like Dave Goggins. I know I mentioned him maybe last video, maybe a couple others too. But David Goggins could. He was never afraid to do the work, and dude, this is so funny. Dude, I don't know if you ever read his book. Yeah, his dad. I'm not saying this part's funny, but his dad abused him, stuff like that, and he lived on fucking Paradise Lane. He lived in Paradise Lane, and it was anything but paradise for him, right? Oh man. I personally hate, and he says this kind of in the story. He had that outward view. How other people, how their families saw his family. As that. They're like, put on a smile, like that. But as soon as they went in the door, things would change. And I feel like that's the case for so many people. You put on this fake smile, to please your parents or to, I don't know, to work or something like that. But, that's not how you really feel inside. And that's a problem. Because, that's how you really burn out. That's how you become like a hollow fucking husk of yourself, right? But see, this is what I really want to do, and this is what I feel inside. This is actually how I really fucking feel, okay? And it's not a speech, it's a fucking lifestyle. And yeah, so that's what I kind of want for y'all. I kind of want y'all to like wake up and wake up and to do something authentic. So something that you find fun, that's what I really hope for y'all. I hope y'all enjoyed some of my Coast Guard stories. If you ever want to learn more about that, or how much I got paid in there, or I don't know, just leave a comment down below. Make sure you smash the subscribe button. And yeah, I'm really enjoying this this journey that we're going on. And dude, it's going to get epic. I might even go to Thailand. So yeah, might film some journeys there. I don't know, we'll see. Anyways, I hope y'all enjoy it, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.